If you're interested in giving your elementary school student a really simple and inexpensive student planner of their own for next year, I think I've found a really good option. Stick around to see the inside. Hi everybody, welcome back to Project Happy Home. For those of you who are new here, I'm Tanya, an MD-JD turned homeschooling mom of 3 kids ages 7, 4, and 2. If you're interested in videos about homeschooling and parenting, particularly a child with ADHD, and taking care of mom in general, you've come to the right place. This is a student daily record and assignment book that I found on Amazon, and it was very inexpensive, under $7, and I was really happy with it. It doesn't have a lot of the bells and whistles of the more expensive planners that are 2 or even 3 times the price, but for my son, I really liked the small size of it, and I like the fact that it has a really simple layout and a very customizable one, as you'll see. When you open the book, there is a page for personal information along with a really nice inspirational quote. Only a person who has faith in himself can be faithful to others. There are some pages explaining how to use this book, though I do think it's fairly self-explanatory. The opening page is a really interesting one. Instead of just tracking attendance, it also tracks effort, and I very much like that idea. It pairs nicely with a growth mindset, that this is much more about what you put into it than what comes out. If you're bringing your best effort, that's really what I'm looking for and what you should be looking for too. So here he can put X's all the way across the board for August, September, all the way through July for the days that he's present in class. And for effort, he can rank himself from a 1 to 3. Or I'll just probably keep it simple and say, if you think you put forth the good effort for most of the day, go ahead and exit out. And that'll be a good way of tracking for himself and self-assessing whether he really did try that day, whether he brought his best effort forward. There's a page here to record your grades, and that goes all the way across as well. So you can list the subjects down the side, and it's split up by 4 quarters if you follow a quarterly system. The next 4 pages actually, are a school calendar that runs here from September to January with the dates down the side all the way down to the 31st here. And then the next page completes the calendar with the months February through June. The next page has spaces for important phone numbers like your parents' work, case of emergency, the police department, the fire department, and the family doctor. And then there's 2 pages for contacts. I was thinking I would let my son put in his information for his pen pals here and his grandparents so that when we write letters, which we do every Monday, he'll be able to look up the addresses himself and do that whole set of steps on his own. And then you get into a goals to be accomplished page. I really liked this page, especially for a young student's planner, because often they don't have sections for goals, and I think it's really important at the beginning of the year for them to know what they're working towards. For reading, for example, how many books would he like to read? What types of books would he like to read? In math, would he like to learn all his multiplication tables? Would he like to learn 1 through 6 for his multiplication tables? I want him to establish sort of what his goals are and to write them down so he has some accountability there. When you turn the page again, now you get into the meat of the planner. And this is titled Homework Follow-Up because it's designed for a student going to school, but I think it's perfectly suited towards a homeschooler. When you get this planner, all of this is blank. I just use these little acrylic stamps that I have, and I'll link those down below. I bought them off Amazon for the different subjects. So I stamped in math, English, reading, science, history, geography, art, and music. And those are the ones we will be doing pretty much on a daily basis. There are other subjects we're also doing, of course, like coding and PE and pottery that I felt like we could probably handle with it just being in my planner. These are the things that I expect for a great extent he should be able to pull out some of the work on his own and get started. Now that I have a rising kindergartner, his sister, also, and it'll be a little bit more formal for her than it was this year with pre-K, I'm going to expect him to be able to look at this list and sort of pull out from his work boxes what he needs to do next if I am busy working with her. There's a section for the date at the top and a parent's signature here, and I expect to use this for him instead of me. What I'll do is I'll probably divide these into 2 slots, and when he finishes it, he checks it off, and then when I check it off. If you watched my previous videos in the homeschool planning palooza, you would have noticed I had a Lime Life planner, which is basically like my self-created instructor's guide. The one that I don't expect to finish everything in there, but it's the theoretical ideal version of my plan for the year. Then I have my day designer planner, where I'm going to record what we actually ended up doing with our days. Everything from classes to the work we ended up doing. Here is the middle step in between those two. The night before each day, or at the end of each day, I will write down what I expect we should do the next day in this book. And as he does it, he'll get his signatures. Whatever's left over, whatever has not been checked off, I will know that I will move on to here. And so this will be filled out one night at a time. It's simply a plan for each day. And I thought this would be a really simple, stress-free way of keeping track of what I expect to get done the next day, without making it as detailed or extensive as my master planner in the Lime Life. And it just goes straight on through all the way to the end in the same color pattern. This really only took about half an hour to do. I know you can get pre-made planners, but they have a lot of excess information in them, in my opinion. For example, they have things like tables of facts and little cute cartoons and things. Especially since my son has ADHD, I wanted to have a really straightforward, simple plan that just kept going the same way every single day. In case you were wondering, this has about 90 daily pages like this, so that should carry you through about 18 weeks, which would be about half of a typical 36-week term. I bought 2 of these, and hopefully that'll be all we do for formal days of schooling. After these are done for the year, for example, if we decide to homeschool through the summer or through random vacation days, I'm not going to expect him to have things written down in here, because this honestly will not be a planner that I'll be saving to record anything. I'll be saving my Lime Life and my day designer planner as a record of the year, but this is really just to teach him a little more responsibility and to help him be a little more accountable for his daily work. I hope you guys enjoyed that, and let me know down below if you found good student planners for homeschooling, and if you've created your own. I'd love to see those as well. As always, thank you so much for watching, you guys. I really appreciate the support, and if you have any questions about planning or resources or any other videos you'd like to see me do, please do let me know in the comments down below. I really do want to make useful content for you guys, and I wish you the very best day.